What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. First of all, let me talk about this brother Aaron from the Pop the Balloon or Find Love episode. I believe it was episode number 11 or 10. Shout out to Arlette Amuli. She's doing some really wonderful things there. But it's funny because a lot of the brothers that are in this black male content space, the black manosphere space, what I hear about all the time is, a lot of these Pookies and Ray Rays gotta go from Black America. That's been y'all's argument. Pookies and Ray Rays is hurting the community. They're selling drugs. They're doing everything. And again, hey, a lot of you guys are really harsh on the Pookie and Ray Ray community. Just so happens that Mr. Aaron, who I don't have a dog in the fight, he's a brother from the West Coast. He's born in Stockton, raised in Sacramento. So, hey, shout out to the brother. He's from Oak Park. He's a young brother, right? I don't have no issue with him. But according to his own biography, he is indeed a Pookie. Been in prison for a long time, over 5 years. Anybody else in the black male content spaces, you guys would completely disarm that individual. You guys love castigating black men who are criminals. Okay? That's the truth. Now, once you find out that he allegedly has been fired by black women that's been calling his job, now it's, okay, let's donate this guy money and help him in his quote-unquote humanitarian cause, which I think is complete bullshit now. At first, I was like, okay, that's probably a reason. But then after hearing him say he has $100,000 in the bank and then talking about a humanitarian cause, there's no evidence of this guy doing any humanitarian causes. I mean, couldn't a person volunteer for free to help these people? I mean, it's a lie, right? Now, when somebody's calling a guy out to be a liar, here are all the excuses you hear in the book. Well, you don't know. You guys are defaming this character. And it's amazing to hear you guys go through this particular, back and forth about this particular dude, only because, you felt like some black women, talked to him a little dusty and possibly got him fired. We have not seen a termination letter, nothing, okay? But he seems to not even like black women, which is what y'all don't like either. So let's let his Hispanic girlfriend, who he used to be with, give her own account of what he did to her in their relationship.
All right, now that we opened the can of worms, let's go ahead and talk about part one of Watch Who the You Date. So his name is Aaron. Aaron is my ex. We dated for a few months and it didn't last very long. And let me tell you why. He is like insane. It's like he has that little person talking to him in the corner of his shoulder at all times. Like he's making up constant stories in his head about like that I'm cheating on him, that he's got to watch his back, that I have guys in my apartment at all times, and that I'm cheating while I'm at work, when I work in a clinic full of women, by the way. So let's take it back to the beginning. So again, we met. I lived in Arizona. He lived in New Mexico. And he said, oh, I have a friend that lives in Arizona. I was actually just there. I was like, oh, dang. Well, whenever you're down here again, let's grab dinner or whatever. He's like, all right. He ended up coming, and his plan was to end up moving to Arizona anyway with his friend, right? He ended up at my house so much anyway that I was just kind of like, I mean, you kind of already live here. His clothes was there, everything. So I was like, just, that was my mistake. So my mom ends up making dinners for us all the time. We're Mexican. We make huge dinners. And the first time he went, he met the family and everything was cool. But when we left, my mom called me and she said, are you okay? And I said, what do you mean, am I okay? She said, well, I see something in his eye, like he wants to hurt you or like he wants to control you. I don't know how to tell you because I don't want you to think that I'm crazy. But I'm just telling you to be careful and really think about if this is the guy that you really want to be with. And I was like, well, I mean, it kind of is already in motion, it's already happening. So then my mom invites us over for dinner again. I think it was the next day, and we play loteria. And I guess he was just like, no, I don't want to go. Like he started little by little, kind of not wanting to be around my family. And I don't know if he noticed that my family didn't really like approve of him or whatever. I'm not too sure. But anyways, that was a red flag number one. It's kind of like he was already trying to distance me from my own family. Like the only protection that I have had is from my family, and he was trying to move me away. So when I first started talking to him, I was talking to other people, as in I had a lot of guy friends. And I don't hang out with too many girls because sometimes it can get overwhelming and a lot of drama can start. So they would still text my phone, and of course I talked to somebody else before I met him too. It kind of just ended up going in the direction with Aaron. And so they would text my phone, and he would check my phone every few hours. Every time a vibration would go off, every time I'd get a notification, he's looking at me like he wants to literally do something to me. I don't know what was going on. It's just that look in his eyes, and you guys know because you have seen that look in the Pop the Balloon game, like this video that went viral. So he starts checking my phone every few hours. He starts to track my location. I gave him my location on my phone because I was like, I have nothing to hide, right? And I'm always either at work with him at home or with my family. So go ahead and go to part 2. All right, welcome back to part 2 of Watch Who You Date. We're talking about Aaron, the guy that went viral on Pop the Balloon game. So anyways, he starts to distance me from my family. He starts to track me. I give him my location because I had nothing to hide. Every time I would walk by the window, my location would show that I was outside. So he'd call me like, what are you doing outside? Who are you messing with at work? Why aren't you working? Like that controlling, right? Then he starts doing pop-ups at my job, and it got so bad because he would show up in his work truck while he's supposed to be at work at my job that my supervisor had to keep watching me. We had to basically everybody had to walk me to my car after work to make sure that I made it. And the girls would text me, hey, did you make it? Again, it's a clinic full of girls. So that was a red flag number 2. And then one time I walked outside to the cafeteria, and he calls me and he's like, how did I know you were outside? So that in my head was like, circles are already turning. I go to my car to see if he put a tracker because he is capable of doing some shit like that. And I couldn't find anything. And then he pops up at my job like, don't break up with me. Don't do this. Like, I'll change. I thought I was going to catch you doing something. And I was like, how did you know I was outside, right? He said, I put my extra phone tracking you in your car, and I left it on record because I was expecting to record you doing something, as in cheating on me or like messing around in your car. And I was like, I was done. After that, I was completely done. I said, get your stuff, get out of my house, and come bring me my key. And he was like, no, I'm gonna change, whatever. I went home, he was still there. He was like, let's try to work it out. I was like, he already lives with me, he moved here, like whatever. And it was going, I was going to do it so bad. And then he went to go get coffee for me or something from Starbucks, and he was like, something's wrong with your car. And I was like, what do you mean something's wrong with my car? He's like, yeah, it started to act weird. And I was like, okay, hold on right there. My car, I have a 2019 Dodge Challenger. It's been perfectly fine. I kept up with the oil. I don't understand. All of a sudden you're driving it and something's wrong with it. Go to part 3. Part 3, and this is the last part that I'm going to post about Aaron, the buff guy from Pop the Balloon game and Watch Who the Fuck You Date. So, he was like, yeah, your car's acting funny. I was like, no. At that point, I was like, already get out of my house. Like, I don't want you here. You ain't paid one bill. You put $20 a light one time, and maybe you spent like $30 on groceries because I was going to cook dinner one time. But my mama always told me, do not allow a man to come into your home and pay any bills, because then he's going to feel like he has the right to either stay there or like, oh, I paid the rent, I live here too. But in all reality, everything that I had gotten was mine, and I didn't allow him any part of that. So I was like, all right, get out, whatever. He leaves. He still tried to contact me. I was like, no, get out. I grabbed my car. I went to my mom's house because I didn't want him to try to come back and to try to convince me. And that's what brings to like my mind all the time. Like, you guys tell people in abusive relationships all the time, like, you need to leave, thinking that it's easy for these women to leave. And it's not. Like, yeah, they've gotten hurt or whatever, but these women are completely head over heels in love with these men. So it's not easy to leave. So I did what I thought was best. So I went to my mom's house right after. And he's calling me like, dang, you're already at somebody else's house. You're already cheating on me. I was like, whatever. And on my way to my mom's, I start to feel that my car is starting to shake. And I'm like, dang, like, what is it? I took it to 2 different mechanics that were like, it was the spark plugs, the ignition coils. I fixed that. And then I went to another mechanic because it started to shake again. And supposedly it was the same thing. They fixed that again. So I went to a third mechanic and he's like, I think they might have put sugar in your gas tank, but I would need to take out the gas tank to make sure. And I was like, no, I don't think he would be capable of doing something like that. Whatever. So I couldn't find what was wrong with it. At this point, I had moved out already because I was so scared. My mom had let me borrow money because I needed to move out before my lease was up. So he didn't know where I lived. I moved apartments. So at this point, I went and got a new car. I went to the dealership and I got a new car. I changed my car. And when I asked him, hey, did you ever find out what was wrong with my Challenger? He said, yes, there was sugar in the gas tank. So this man that claims to be very godly and studies the Bible and, you know, practices this religion, put sugar in my gas tank, tracked my car, put a phone to record me in my car. And I would do things like say everything he needed to hear, like, yeah, I cheated on you, like, because I was so scared of him being crazy. Like, this guy has a record. You guys don't know that. You guys really need to be careful who you make famous on this app. I don't want to say anything else because I feel like I already opened up a big can of worms. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them, but I don't want to make this any more parts.
Now, through his own account on Mediocre Tourism Reviews, he's admitted that he put the tracker on the car, okay? The gas, the sugar in the tank, all of these allegations, you know, it just shows the guy has a problem. When I saw the guy throwing money in the club, even if he couldn't access the GoFundMe money or not, it's pathetic. A grown-ass man throwing money in the club, taking his wife beater off. How much more pooky can you get than that? What educated individual, mature person will behave like that? I mean, hey, he seems like a nice guy. I mean, I don't have anything against him, but what kind of person would think about doing that after all these men come to your aid to support you? Bro, don't you think that makes it look bad? And then you guys who are defending him, it shows me something else. That black men really will pick any side against anybody who's having a back and forth with quote unquote African-American women without even really looking at what happened. And let me just tell you this, you guys talking about, I don't have any proof. You don't have no proof he was fired. Where's your proof, okay? If I'm saying I believe the guy is not telling the truth, which he has that history based on his record of not being a person that tells the truth, obviously he's not a great criminal. He even admitted that himself, he's not a great criminal. So we know that. But what proof do you guys have that he was terminated? We have not seen a letter. We have not seen anything. Then, you know, I saw a few of the stories. He's telling people, look, hit me at my Cash App for my birthday. Send me that money for my birthday. Like what? Like what kind of man even asks? Like what? You're asking for money from strangers for your birthday? What did you do? I mean, I'm just being honest. This is adult male. It seems like the guy is just really thirsty for cash and trying to cash in on this and doesn't really care about nobody else but himself with this. And a lot of guys who have given their hard-earned money to him, he don't care. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe the guy cares. Nobody cared about him when he was coming up for the most part. That's how he could possibly pull the scam off. And I believe he is scamming. I don't have anything against the individual. If I were to meet the guy, I would have no problem with him. But he's getting over. And now guys are upset with me, and you know, I could be, you know, I'm hating on the guy. You know, I'm damaging his character. Look, the guy already damaged his own character. Look at his criminal record. Okay? So if y'all want to give the guy money, that's cool. Give him money. Me, I was gonna stay out of it, but look, it looks pathetic. Nobody asking for money on the internet, a GoFundMe, should be throwing money in the club, taking their shirt off just 20 hours later. That is so damn ridiculous. So guys, it's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Episode of Celebrity John. Pretty far, you just heard the bell. We're out.